The fifth set will be played on Korhal, Floating Island. Spawning in the bottom left-hand position, the green Protoss from WOONGJIN Stars. His name is Flying, formerly of Estro.
His opponent on the opposite side on the map, Red Terran, playing for Samsung Khan. His name is Reality.
Yeah. Reality been doing better recently. We're seeing some potential strong play from him. I think he could become a top Terran one day. He's definitely one of the better Terrans overall, I think, but he hasn't broken into the elite of the Terrans.
And just looking at the map positions, remember Korhal Floating Islands, everyone knows by now, but just in case, for those of you who do not understand the concept of the map, we have the cross positions, the top right and the bottom left. That's the one position that we have right now. You can also spawn in the top left and the bottom right position, and the map plays out differently. In these two particular positions, it's great for the Protoss player because now it's a regular map instead of a map where the air distance is so close between the two players.
Yeah, the key being it's much more like a standard map in these positions. Very standard, actually. And the other, it's just completely turned upside down if you spawn in the top left, bottom right positions.
It just gets a little bit more tricky once you start taking the fort base on this map in these two particular positions, because, you know, you're supposed to have the spawning positions on the top left and the bottom right, and it really depends on which side you want to take as the game goes on. But there's also a huge middle area where the battle can happen. And also because of small chokes around the map, the players need to scout around constantly to make sure their opponent is not going for some medevac drops or some counterattack.
Yeah. I believe, if I read that correctly, we do have Reality in the Challenger League, and I'm pretty sure Flying is in the Premier League as well. So both of these guys are in the individual leagues as well. All right, got a command center first opening from Reality. Not afraid to put that on the low ground as well. And Flying, he is going to go for a Zealot here. Maybe he could do the Zealot Stalker, Mothership Core, Poke, and Harassment. I like when Protoss players do that, especially if the Terrans skimp out and try to be a little bit too greedy.
This isn't as a really aggressive build that we saw from some of the STXO players that we saw a few days ago, where they get a Zealot even before the Cybernetics Core and trying to take out the command center first build right away. So it's not as bad as those type of pushes, but certainly Flying can apply a lot of pressure against his opponent. But no, he cancels a Zealot at the last second, only trying to get the Zealot out if there was an eBay at the natural.
Yep, exactly. And he doesn't need the Zealot early on, so he just cancels it and he gets his Nexus up just a little bit faster. The Mothership Core can provide all of the defense required, at least for the next minute or two in the game, and then of course help out a lot later on. And with Reality just going for this the double racks opening behind this, he's just playing this as safe as possible. He doesn't want to try to be too greedy and get a fast gas and only one single barracks.
Getting a fast gas, you could get the tech up just in time to harass your opponent, but the problem is Protoss players, they can easily reinforce with a forward pylon, go for the counter attack, and finish off their opponent.
Yep, the Mothership Core moving across the map now. Going to try to do a little bit of scouting, maybe even a bit of harassment at that. And there's going to be 5 Marines out soon. Right now there's just a few.
Yeah, but it's so crucial for Flying to see what his opponent is doing. At least check that the command center has been up and running for a long time. Behind this, he is getting a Stargate, something that WOONGJIN Stars Protoss player, you know, they tend to do, especially someone like Flying. He does not see the third barracks to the right side, however.
Nice. It looks like Flying's going to go ahead and pick off one of these SCVs here. He doesn't scout the third barracks, though. That actually would have been really nice if he could scout that. Because then he's going to know that, all right, my opponent may try to put some pressure on me earlier on in the game. And with Flying going for the fast Stargate behind this, you know, he could be a little bit weak at home from direct head-on attacks.
Yeah, in fact, those 5 Marines are already moving out on the map, trying to see if they can snipe the Mothership Core before going back home. But Flying, he does see it just in time and saves it.
Yeah, it's got some good maneuvering there. All right, Oracle on the way from Flying, and we also see the engineering bay starting up for our Terran player here. He may be able to get some turrets up in time if he has a feeling that his opponent's going to be doing some type of pressure here with the Oracle. And back at home, Flying, you know, just really working up his economy right now, getting the double gases at the natural. We do see that fast +1 attack starting for our Terran player, but not to get too far behind. We also have the Forge about to complete as well. This one Marine going to get picked off by the Stalker as well. Just maintaining a little bit of map control from the Protoss side. Reaper on the way as well. to potentially do a little bit of scouting later on in the game. May have been a mistake, but he can still use that for scouting if that's the case.
Now, let's see what how much damage the Oracle can do. Is in perfect position to snipe some SCVs. There's going to be up to 6 Marines, which means that Flying eventually has to micro the Oracle away, but he does get 1 SCV kill. Is he going to get a second one? Seems like no.
Trying to juke out a few of these units here. He may be able to get into the main base, though, of his opponent and pick off a few units here. Well, let's see how many SCV kills he can get overall. He's going to get 4. Oh, but the Oracle gets picked off at the last second there. 4 SCVs, not the proper investment for that single Oracle, and especially losing it as well hurts out a lot.
You know, going for the 4th one, he was a little bit indecisive. He was like, you know, can I actually get it? Can I, you know, this seems too risky, and he was going back and forth in that little position. You do not have, you need to make the decision right away. You know, I want to go for the SCV, or rather, I want to save the Oracle and use the Revelation later on the Medivacs and the Marines, but because Flying was being hesitant, he lost his Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle, very fragile unit there. Like you mentioned, you cannot, you know, dilly-dally with that unit. You need the commit. Otherwise, you know, the acceleration from moving back and forth after stopping for a little bit, it's just going to, you know, make that Oracle a lot more vulnerable. All right, we have an extra pylon being built, you know, kind of towards the top part of the map here. Maybe we'll use that as a proxy pylon later on in the game. Oh, actually, Phoenix production behind this from Flying here. Now, Flying, he is the kind of guy that's not afraid to go for weird unit compositions or really weird builds. Like, even back in Brood War, I remember one game against Effort where he actually made Arbiters against a Zerg player, which you, like, almost never do.
So, and it worked out.
Yeah, and it worked out. He's not afraid to go for, you know, these really just offbeat timings or just... He's not afraid to be out there and be a unique player, and that's one of the things that really draws me to Flying.
Yeah, and these Phoenixes are going to be great against defending those Medivac drops into the main base. We did see a Stargate play yesterday where the Oracle did come out, but we didn't see that many Phoenixes for defense after player Hero, if I remember correctly, made the first Oracle and the first Phoenix. If you get up to 3 or 4, it's going to be great against defending those Medivac drops, which is so annoying from... as a Protoss player.
The 10-minute timing as well, very, very diminished when you have Phoenix on the field because you can pick off the Medivacs as well. And look at this, Flying completely prepared for this attack here. Mech,
oh, Force Field.
Force Field, yes, nice Force Fields go on there. And a few of those units are going to get picked off there. The Phoenix is revealed. The Marines, though, they can't focus fire too efficiently on the Phoenix here. And eventually, the Medivacs, they're going to get sniped off here.
Yeah, the map really plays to these Phoenix style because remember, there is an open area in the middle of the map, but those are small chokes left and right, which means that those Marines cannot get a full shot on those Phoenixes when it's staying on top of that little ground area.
Another Medivac, or the first Medivac going to get picked off here. The other one's still pretty low on health. I love this. Flying is actually taking a fast third behind this as well. This is the perfect timing. He completely routed his opponent. He's actually even in supplies, which at this stage of the game is actually pretty good for Flying. He completely made up for losing that early Oracle due to some good fighting and positioning here. And as long as this base gets up online, I am curious to see if Flying will actually make more Phoenix later on or just go into a standard composition and not overcommit to the Phoenix.
Not overcommitting to the Phoenix seems like the answer right now from Flying's perspective, as he's going for the Twilight Council while securing his 3rd Nexus. And what these Phoenix does is, yes, it does apply pressure to his opponent, and also it denies the Medivacs into the main base. Now the Terran player doesn't want to go for the drops because it's going to get... Once it gets scouted, it's going to get picked off easily. That's the reason why Fly can go for a 3rd base, and he can secure that position. Also, there are Vikings coming out from his opponent, but remember, those have to eat through the Phoenixes first before it can start shooting on the Colossus.
Alright, well, we still have continued Colossus production here, but we're seeing the double forge upgrades going into effect here. +2/+2 starting, as well as the Colossus Ranger about halfway done. Those extended thermal lances are going to help out a lot in this scenario, but would expect them a little bit earlier. This is actually looking like a really strong attack here. No, nice force fields go down. Well, will it be enough? That's the thing here. The Zealots are just getting eaten alive by the Marines here. Reality pressing forward here. 141 to 115 supply. We're going to need to see the Nexus Cannon go down. The Vikings absolutely must die if Flying is going to defend here.
One Colossus does get taken out, but he does have the Colossus with the nice force fields. And remember, as long as he defends just once, his opponent only has up to 2 command centers, but it seems like there's just too much bio right now. He should have pulled the probes a little bit earlier, but he's warping in some zones right now. The Nexus, however, gets taken out.
Nexus falling here. The Colossus without the ranged upgrade is really hurting Flying there, as you know, multiple contingents of bio units were able to easily move in there, snipe off those Colossi, and now it looks like Reality is pressing forward into the natural, is going to be able to snipe up the robotics as well. No more Colossus production from our Protoss player, and despite a good opening, a good early game, Reality just wanted to be really aggressive. GG is called. Flying falls to Reality in set number 5.
If he just scouted that his opponent's third base has been delayed for a little too long, then he should have known that all he had to do is force a fight at the natural using the Nexus Cannon and up to 3 Colossus. But since he forced a fight at the ramp and the force fields did not work out for him, with the Zealots being stuck behind the force fields, Reality was able to win the engagement, press forward, and win the game.
Yeah, those force fields were good at first, and then I feel like Flying, he didn't pull back fast enough, and it really hurt him a lot there. So unfortunately, Flying a little bit of a fumble there towards the end. Great opening though, I really like the opening, and I actually would like to see more of that in the future from Protoss players. But now the score, 3-2. WOONGJIN Stars still ahead of their opponent Samsung Khan. The next match is going to be Arya versus Turn, another PvT. So we're going to have to see. Arya, another kind of amateur player as well. Turn, a bit of a rookie. We're going to have to see how these players do in the next match after this commercial break.